Can you hear? Safe. Must tend to... Open your... Please.
Someone, and...
Please.
You can't leave us! Not like this! If you do, I'll never forgive you! So come on! Open your eyes and get up!
I'm back.
Are you with us?
Hey. Sorry for worrying you.
Oh, thank the heavens. For a moment we thought...
Am I really alive?
Yes, you're alive. You're alive. You... How can you keep your promise if you're not here?
Another fine show you've put on, my friend.
A fine show indeed. What were you thinking, fighting alone? Never do that again. My poor heart couldn't bear it.
Put yourself in our place. If you hadn't returned, how do you think we would feel? And if that sounds harsh, it's because we care.
We tended to thy wounds as best we could, but how is the pain?
Wait,
That is gladdening. Grievous as thine injuries were, however, I would counsel repose for a time.
Gladdening! There's nothing gladdening about this! When Meteion appeared in here and told us that you were right behind her, we all got our hopes up. But you never came! And when you finally deign to appear, you're within an ilm of your life! Damn you! Damn you for making us worry!
Oh, those were cries of celebration! Anyway, well, the important thing is that you're all alive and in reasonably good health, and we mean to get you back that way. As for your earlier request, I'm quite certain we're in range to make contact now.
Ah, excellent. Let us announce our return at once. I hope you're ready.
what do you mean?
While you were unconscious, we set out from Ultima Thule, you see. Can you stand? If so, you may wish to see what's outside.
Alright.
We're home, my friend. We're home.
And everyone is looking up as our homecoming. And we take a very strange tour to Charlian.
Is that? It is! It's the Ragnarok! They're back!
Thank heavens.
Truly.
They've done it!
Welcome home. Ah! Yes! Ah.
Fortune or struggling not to collapse in relief.
Welcome home, everyone!
Here come the credits.
Dearest mother, dearest father, this letter will be the very last that I write to you from the rising stones. As I commit these words to parchment, I fondly recall my journey as a scion. From the time I first walked into the Order's former halls, to the time I set forth to forestall the final days. At the farthest reaches of the Sea of Stars, we fought the battle of our lives. Fought against despair itself, a veritable maelstrom of it, fed by the resignation that dwelled in the hearts of beings not so unlike ourselves. Full oft have I harbored the same malaise. Have I been brought to my knees, crushed by the weight of sorrow and defeat, convinced that I will never rise again. However, I have also known many moments of unbridled joy and happiness. By this truth do I find hope within, blooming resplendent, like the Elpis flower. And thus do I endure. Do I look forward to creating more memories with my friends and loved ones. For from these fertile seeds, yet more hope shall spring forth. And they will grow to become shining lights that illuminate the dark. Thus believing, I leave the rising stones behind, as will my comrades. For, as we have decided, after careful deliberation, we are disbanding the Scions of the Seventh Dawn.
There you are, Alphino. Everyone is already gathered in the foyer.
My apologies. I'll be right there. At least, that is what the story will be. Sorry to keep you all waiting.
What could you possibly have left to do now?
Oh, just a letter.
I imagine it will be a while before we can gather like this again.
So it must be, if we're to keep up appearances. From now on, it falls to the Grand Company of Eorzea and its allies to deal with the realm's crises.
Meanwhile, we shall return to our erstwhile ways. Retreating from plain sight to take our place in the shadows once more.
Indeed. For the foreseeable future, I expect that we must work independently, as we seek out problems that want for solving. But a day will come when we face another great challenge, and we will face it together, as we always have.
Oh, you're here!
As much as I look forward to that day, I do hope it doesn't come anytime soon.
Well, formal association or no, if any of you should require my services, you need but ask. I'll be glad to keep my lance arm honed.
I'll hold you to that. So you had better keep your link pearl on hand.
So you really mean to stay, Tataru?
Oh, someone has to keep the Rising Stones in proper order. And even a super-secret organization requires a super-secret base of operations. To the rest of the world, it will be naught more than a workshop for Eorzea's foremost up-and-coming artisan. If you thought our coffers were full to bursting before, just wait till I can devote myself wholly to the crafts.
Plotting to build a mercantile empire to rival that of Lord Lodorito, are we?
I, for one, look forward to your future successes, Tataru, as do I our next meeting.
And with that, I believe it is past time you all made ready to depart. Leave no preparations undone or words unsaid, all right? Now, off with you.
So, let's say farewell to everyone. Go on, don't miss the chance to say a word to each of our friends. After all you've been through together, I'm sure they'd appreciate it. I can scarce believe our battle extended to the ends of creation, but seeing the science mission to completion was both an honor and a privilege. As for myself, I spent quite a while away from home, so I think I return to Limsa for now. And once I get there, my first order of business will be downing a pint of free at a drowning wench. The exploits of you and your companions are truly an inspiration to us all. I've never felt more compelled to own my own skills, but one day I might be able to accomplish such heroic deeds. Agmos means to visit Limsa and I will join him, continue my search. I know not when we will meet again, but please take care of yourself. It is a shame the signs are disbanding, even if only in name. I still fondly recall the day you granted me my uniform. The memory remains vivid, yet it feels like a lifetime ago. I considered returning to the Other's Nest, but since I've come this far, I've decided I ought to continue my journey and venture into Garlemald instead. I can't hold a candle to the infamous Wandering Minstrel, but I thought I might share with the Garleans a tale of your epic deeds, extend to them an olive branch of song, if you will. FME was a member of the Crystal Braves, I think, way back then. You were but an amateur adventurer when we first met, but look at you now. You've grown into quite the fine young lass. Just as I always knew you would. One might say I ought to settle down in my old age, but seeing you now has set my adventurous spirit ablaze once more. But the first journey I set out upon will be a long-awaited hot spring tour with my dearest friend Home. There has been naught but chaos since the Tellervoy first appeared. Towers, lunar primals, the Empire, the final days, yet you have weathered it all and lived to see the sun rise on a new day. And now that peace has returned, I can finally resume my travels with my grandfather. Perhaps we will go first to Kogane to relax in the Bokaisen hot spring. That might be nice. Of course, my journey will not simply be for pleasure. I will collect information on the territories I travel. Perhaps I shall visit Naxia Beidoma? Desiree, seen to your preparations, have you? I'm just making another sweep of my belongings. Wouldn't do to find I've forgotten something halfway to my destination. Oh, just in case you hadn't heard, we've received new reports detailing the devastation caused by the final days. It appears the situation is gravest in the lands surrounding the Bounty, where the sky first began to burn. After that, calamity was observed in the far north, in Garlemald and the frozen lands beyond. We also had reports of the heavens catching fire in isolated locations, one of which was an area in the northern Empty. Had our quest taken any longer, Charlie and Tu may have come under threat. Thank goodness, it's over now. To be sure, blasphemies and lesser beasts may still be roaming about, but these localized crises should be well within the capacity of each nation to handle on their own. The science are no longer needed. Which isn't to say that we won't help out where we can, of course. As individuals, no more of this order business. For my part, I'll be heading to Garlemald with Altifino. They were among the worst affected and still need all the help they can get. But they do. It won't be easy. An inevitable part of aiding those in need is coming face to face with tragedy. Knowing it doesn't make it any easier though. But I curse my weakness, my inability to fix every problem and save every lost soul. But no matter how much it'll hurt, I won't give up. I'll do what I can for as many people as I can, begrudging no effort. And should I find myself discouraged, I remember you. Think back fondly on one of your many memories of triumph and the accompanying determined expression. Even those that still annoy me in retrospect, like when you activated the teleporter without warning. And should you hear about me, I want you to remember too. Remember that I'm out there somewhere, trying my very best. I look forward to hearing about the legendary Alizé Levieux. Not that I'm trying to become famous or anything. That being said, the next time we meet, I'll be vastly improved. So don't be surprised when you find yourself marveling at me. Even if I was way off of that voice right now. Okay. Hey, Angie. Desiree, as was spoken of our comrades. Though this parting be not forevermore, 'tis nonetheless occasion for sorrow. Akin to a pixie's path, the navigation of such farewells is a perilous endeavor indeed. For their part, however, the Loperids embark upon a new beginning. Though bereft of its purpose as a vessel, the moon yet remaineth hospitable for the creatures of Etheirys. Thus do our lunar visitors convene with a forum, intent upon assigning some new and beneficial role to our solitary satellite. Yet ere that may come to pass, there is much and more each party must learn of the other. A process which doth promise to be eventful indeed. The vet and arcada of Loperids have gleefully dispersed across our lands in the name of mutual understanding. Eidolon, 'tis said, did imbue them with her love for all things born of a star. And is Venar's own nature, I believe, which doth manifest in this irrepressible, inexhaustible curiosity of theirs. Having witnessed that which they strove to achieve, I wish most keenly for their long labors to be rewarded, and their abiding affection for man result in a boon for all. Moreover, I hope to continue our acquaintance and share in such knowledge as they see fit to impart. Acquaintance? I would call it a friendship. I did not wish to presume. I would be honored should they consider me a friend. For 'tis certainly true that I have grown fond of their company. But I digress no further. This day should belong to the science of the seventh dawn, to mine incomparable companions. Oft-times has mine reticence caused thee grief, and mine actions spurred allies to suspect betrayal. And yet here amongst you I still stand. No amount of words could express my gratitude for thine acceptance and forgiveness. Thus instead I do proffer my humble support. Be it unto the deepest abyss or the highest heavens, even there must needs founder across stormy seas, shall ever I answer thy summons. I understand that following thy clash with Xenots, the teleportation device thou hast discarded fell to thee from on high. To return to thee in such a manner. I did confer with Wilson and Blovida, yet they insist the device was possessed of no such capability. It was a miracle befitting the nature of that place, where emotion becometh tangible reality. Whence then arose this timely wonder? Thine ardent wish, or another's fervent prayer? Did I forget to mention anything? Ah yes, the Hannish envoy who came to see Astinian also bore a letter from Matzia. He writes that Mevan and Kerasav's little girl is doing well and he often goes to visit her. It won't be easy growing up without her parents, but with her fellow villagers watching over her I dare to hope that she won't want to for warmth as she grows up. Our champion and savior. I was beginning to think my chance for an audience would never come. That sounded more amusing in my head. Speaking of heads, I was worried about yours and the rest of you, for that matter. On the mend, I trust? Glad to hear it. You were in a bad way, and healing magic or no, I'm impressed by how swiftly you've recovered. Then again, 'tis hardly the first time you've cheated death. Your strength of will has never failed to astonish me. Look at what you've accomplished. Meteor defeated, a Song of Oblivion cut short, the Source and all her reflections delivered from her final days. If you had felt it at the last, then all hope would have been lost. But you held fast. Now Reen has a tomorrow to look forward to, and I could ask for no greater gift than that. As for a lesser gift, however, the next time you see her, I would appreciate you not describing my travel plans with your energy as aimless wandering. We have a purpose in our roaming after all, keeping an eye on things in the absence of a science on the world stage. There'll never be an end to the little problems that go untended by nations. We will do our best to help out where and when we can. Which I suppose is an approach not far removed from aimless wandering when you get down to it. Perhaps you could tell her I'm faring well and leave it at that, huh? No need to mention this feeling of being uprooted. I've never been one to stand still for long. But when I think of home, 'tis the rising stones which come to mind. How many times have we set out from the space, thence to return when our work was done? On the day the signs came together, I only hoped for Menphilia to find a place where she belonged, but never did I expect to find one here for myself. Indulge me, Desiree. I have a question for you, and imagine Menphilia herself is asking. Are you glad you joined the Scions? Never been a dull moment, that's for certain. That's one way of putting it. In many ways, the experience has left us far stronger than when we began. But all good things come to an end, at least for the time. Should you need a helping hand for infiltration or reconnaissance, you know who to ask. I'll come running, and you'll likely get a certain funny-talking fortune teller into the bargain. In case you haven't heard, the Waking Sands will be converted into a warehouse. We'll be keeping the place free of rats and cobwebs, so it can still serve as an outpost should the need arise. Considering Tataru's ambitions, however, I'd not be surprised if she claimed the lot for her budding empire. The salvation Menphilia dreamed for Eorzea comes closer to reality with every step the Scions take. Yes, the world may still be in the throes of change, but it is improving. I see it happening day by day, and I sit here praying that whatever new road you walk will bring you the wonder and joy you deserve. Should you need a rest in between your journeys, do come and join me on the terrace for old time's sake. If you have something to say, then out with it. Just wondering how I earn my keep now. What, I thought your adventures had any number of ways to earn coin, and though the Science mode of operation has changed, we should be compensated as before. In any case, I do not want for options, even if some are worse than others. No sooner did Emmerich hear about our disbandment, but he offered me a position as a guardsman in the Empyrean district. As a former Azure Dragoon, I'm guaranteed to be popular, he said. Who does he take me for? Even without his meddling, I'm perfectly capable of finding employment. And have. Some days ago, a Hunnish envoy arrived with word from Vitra. The worm requests my presence as soon as things have settled here. He didn't deign to mention why I'm needed, but it pertains to dragons like as not. In Fafnir, like elsewhere, the phenomena caused by the final days abated when you defeated Meteon. Though it was too late for those who had already transformed, life is beginning to return to normal for the survivors. Of those who sought refuge in Sharlayan, most have already returned home. But many do not have a home to return to, nor loved ones. By an arrangement between Vitra and the Forum, such souls may remain in Sharlayan if they wish, to work and study. Vitra was always a satrap in truth. It's gratifying to see him become one in name as well. One who has the complete confidence of his people, if the envoy's tone was any indication. Often I find myself speaking favorably of dragons of late. Not so long ago I would have assumed his benevolence hid ulterior motives, but it's clear he cares for his people, and they in turn revere him. To know such a nation may flourish is comforting. Vitra's kin sought release from conflict. So weary were they of the suffering it wrought, they surrendered to oblivion. But Midgard Soma didn't give up. In hope, he made the journey to distant Etheris with his clutch of axe. And though his progeny went on to be embroiled in conflict with men, there were times when they transcended hatred to abide in harmony. That is their legacy, and their triumph. In my lands I feel the weight of their struggle and the strength of their resolve, and it lends me strength. These things I might never have learned had I not joined you. Should you ever have need of me, I will come. At the very least, it might be an opportunity to earn coin. Word has it the false deity born in the Tower of Zod has survived and occasionally appears to terrorize the locals. Those who vanquish the being and present proof in Razatan will receive a handsome reward. Though handsome isn't the word I would use to describe such outlandish garb. But while I'm in Fafnir, perhaps I will acquire a set to send to Emmerich in lieu of an answer to his job offer. Let him stand guard Vassatide and be the talk of the Empyrean, if not all Corphus. I'm so glad the danger is past. There was nothing I could do but pray from here, so I was relieved to the point of tears when everyone made it back safely. I imagine we'll have more free time now, so I was thinking I'd study up on healing magic, but I could make myself more useful in the future. My first stop will be the Astrologicum in Ishgard to learn about Charlie and astrology. I must follow Okka's lead and continue to own my skills. I'm so glad I was able to be here in this moment. You know, I considered continuing to follow in Hori's footsteps, but I realized it's time I found my own way in life. Otherwise, I'd never be half a man my brother is. First things first, I'm going to head to Gridania to visit the Conjurer's Guild and the Archer's Guild. I will do my very best to brush up on my skills before I see you again. Both guilds, huh? We may have accomplished a goal and put it behind us, but my time with the science provided memories that will last me a lifetime. What bliss! To think I was blessed with a chance to experience such unbridled brotherly love. But now that Okka has decided to set off without his dear brother, without the two of them together, I fear I might suffer withdrawal. Yeah. Enor still being the path. Oh, are we saying our farewells too? I hadn't at present planned on a journey of any great length. Not that I'm averse to a moment or two of quiet reminiscence. In fact, there was something I'd been meaning to ask you. Something that had been in my thoughts since the last flames of the final day subsided. Let's hear it. During our travels, we have witnessed more than a lifetime's worth of oddities and spectacles, more than can be easily recalled or remembered. And nestled among those memories are certain essential facts. The history of the Etheris and the ancients, glimpses of the air, of their culture and philosophy. Rather than simply hoard such treasures in my mind, I wonder if I should not be disseminating them in formal records for wider consumption. When needed, I've penned reports and prepared briefings, but ever have I balked at the idea of binding the subject of my studies in a book or tablet. Truth is given shape and interpretation. When we seek to capture it with our words, it is inevitably molded to fit a narrative, no matter how well-intentioned the rendering. An event is described as sad, a summation which fails to express the emotional complexity, yet the word on the page is what endures, a pale shadow of reality. Throughout history, some have deliberately embellished the truth, but I believe many, if not most, deviations are the result of similar linguistic shortcomings, piling one upon the other until the end result is unrecognizable from its origin. which is why I fear that writing an account in my own words would be akin to diluting fine wine with water. Yet even with a potential for corrupting meaning, I do of course realize the importance of keeping written records. Without them, my search for wisdom would be a painful affair indeed. But what say you on the matter? Should I take up the quill, reflect upon those experiences only we have shared, and seek to preserve them for posterity? Aye. Let them be read and remembered. Because memories also are not always truthful, it is relatively easily possible to manipulate memories. Very well then. I shall endeavor to pen what I can of the air and the ancients and of so many other wonders. But I am no scribe. It will be less a polished work and more a reordering of scattered notes. In any case, I feel much better for having sought your opinion. Left to our own devices, I tend to overthink such things. I will otherwise return to following where my curiosity leads. After all, a safe method of travel to the forest yet eludes me, and our adventure into the great expanse has prompted an entirely new set of questions. Should you stumble into the unknown or struggle with some impenetrable mystery, know that I am at your beck and call. It never hurts to see things from a different perspective, and mine is rather different than most. Far too much blood has been spilled and far too many lives lost. Still, I'm glad I was able to do something to repay those who showed me a path to the future. Not that our job is over, of course. Far from it. There's much that remains to be done before true and lasting peace can be achieved. To that end, Hori and I mean to set off for Corvus. The excessive tension between the Garleans and Corvosi will only flare more with the Empire's fall. Yeah, and we can't enter Corvus, so might be a while until we see those two again. I still remember the day we sparred together as though it were yesterday, to think how far we have all come since then. Ah, come on! Even now I have not abandoned my dream of besting you in single combat, of a friendly nature of course, though I clearly do not hold a candle to the warrior of light at present. I shall continue to train diligently, but one day you might consider me an equal. Gra? Oh, Desiree, might you have a moment to talk? Sure. With a science stepping away from a public eye, I've been left to consider what new endeavors I might pursue. And after speaking with Quail, I've decided I will be assisting her in rebuilding the students of Baldessian. Not only am I indebted to Master Garlo for giving me a new home, but had our order never existed, I would never have set foot within the Crystal Tower. How different my life might have been. I would never have met you, never become caretaker of a tower, never become a scion. You gave me the chance to do so much good, and I hope to continue to do so with the students. For the added benefit, new mysteries often find their way to our doorsteps. Mysteries that could prove ideal for fulfilling our promise. To embark on a new adventure together, unlike any we've experienced before. Sounds great. Whenever you have a time and inclination, my friend, I stand ready to accompany you unto the unknown. Do you recall in the realm of the Omicrons, when I asked if you thought I may someday be mentioned in your epic? But it's true that to earn a place at your side would be the stuff of dreams. In the end, nothing would give me greater joy than to stand with you in the here and now. It needn't be some grand endeavor. There need be a promise. Whenever adventure calls, I won't hesitate to invite you, and I hope you will do the same for me. Without a second thought. I hold you to that. As much as we have already seen, there's still so much we haven't. Who knows, perhaps we will even encounter survivors of the Omicron somewhere out there. After all, given how they took to the stars, it isn't implausible that some found themselves far from home. And should we encounter a wayward traveler awaiting commands that will never come? I would bid them seek adventure with someone, and with that partner find a new purpose, a new dream. For if crystals can hold fast to dreams, why not Omicrons? Wherever your plans may lead, do not hesitate to send word, and should a commission of interest come my way, you will be the first to know. By the way, have you spoken with Feoul of late? Some days ago they appeared to me in a dream, of a sleeping persuasion that is. Also in the first, they bade me tell you. When I asked why not tell you themselves, they unleashed giant ravenous beavers upon me. Have you perchance done something to incur their ire? Lise came to visit the other day. She peppered me with questions about the lasting repercussion of her final days. I took the opportunity to explain our plans to disband, and she understood our reasoning immediately. Once a scion, always a scion, it would seem. She was eager to relive old times and remember old friends. Bittersweet memories, perhaps, but from the look on her face, the joys outweighed the sorrows. Arnwald is pressing matters according to him anyway. A pity he couldn't be here to witness this momentous occasion, though he bids me tell you congratulations. As for me, well, once the science disband, I intend to resume my work in Walga's Reach. I suppose Arnwald will need support in Gyabania too, though he would not admit as much. Well, he will have my help, whether he wants it or not. I think we have seen Viamatia so rarely that I can barely remember who he is. There's a little strange now my link pearl's gone quiet. Since my unique skills are no longer needed for the safety of a star and all that, I'm going to become an adventurer like you, traveling far and wide. I imagine I'll start by heading to Mericidia or the New World. Just need to find myself a ship first. Oh, Desiree, how are you feeling? Any lingering aches or pains? I can't apologize enough for sending Xenos to find you in Ultima Thule. When he came to me in Sharlayan, I was truly torn, as ever there was only one thing on his mind. Forced to make a decision, I reasoned that if he would not be deterred from seeking you out, he might at least aid us in our cause, and so I struck a bargain. In the end, he was true to his word, and you defeated him despite your earlier exertions. But knowing the state you are found in, it could have ended very differently. My decision almost cost you your life, and no words could express the remorse I feel. It worked out. You did the right thing. I don't think I could have beaten Meteon without Xenos' help. It's a relief to hear you say that. Thank you. Time and time again, I've been made to feel wholly inadequate. I wasn't much use in battle, nor could I face the foe without my nerves getting the better of me. It always fell to you and the others. I must, and I will do better. And I shall begin with the restoration of the students of Baldessian. Through our work, Charlian will strengthen its ties with other nations. We may be better prepared to face whatever threats arise in the future. Of course, this isn't something I can accomplish alone, but thankfully I have the staunchest of help in Raha and Ojika and other remaining members. Together, we will continue Grandfather's work. As before, certain commissions will take us to dangerous locales, and we may need to call upon seasoned adventurers. In such times, might you be willing to assist us? Not because you feel obligated, mind you, but because you feel allured to the task itself? I'm in, so long it's not Eureka again. Marvelous. Should something of interest arise, I shan't hesitate to reach out to you. Until that day, I shall endeavor to become a more dependable comrade. I should mention that Aaronwell has kindly agreed to share all of potential interest he hears from his fellow gleaners. In exchange, we will help them to restore the archives to their proper order. With the Exodus abandoned, all items must be returned whence they came, a task no less grueling than their removal. Even now, Ojika assists in the sorting of arcane artifacts. Oh yes, not only is he a skilled administrator, he's also a certified appraiser specializing in relics from the 5th Astral Era. Despite his qualifications though, he seems none too keen on the work. I shall have to go and relieve him as soon as I can. Interesting. Oh, Desiree, pray forgive me for delaying the gathering. I was writing a letter, you see, to my parents. As busy as Father has been tending to the aftermath of the Exodus, he has been good enough to show concern for the science. And besides, I've made them worry enough for a lifetime. Henceforth, I will endeavor to write as often as I'm able. A little effort to set their minds at ease while we continue to be away from Charlian. Both Alice and I are off to assist with Garlemald's recovery, you see. Though uncertainty remains over what will become of a nation, we cannot well leave the capital in its present state. We will rejoin those members of the Isabat contingent still stationed there. Lucia and Maxima helm the relief effort, with support from our allies, the people of Garlemald among them. They will gradually be joined by those who have finished treating the tempered across the lands. Lest you misunderstand, we do not seek redemption for failing Licinia and her sister. That is a burden we must always bear. Nay, we go because of the truth of Lord Quintus's words. The truth that, whatever ideals individuals may espouse, nations are not moved to action unless they stand to benefit. For the foreseeable future, a fallen empire will be at the mercy of both internal and external forces. And though I do not doubt the intentions of a contingent, with greater powers involved in the relief effort, our allies may well find themselves drawn into a political agenda. In going, we seek to ensure that the needs of a people come first. To understand their hearts, we might better help them to begin anew. I visit when I can. By all means, full glad would I be for your visit. I believe I speak for Alice as well. For fairly as long as I've been in Eorzea, you've been at my side, watching over me, in good times and in bad. How many times have we gathered to share tidings? None could possibly keep count. The world is changing and will continue to do so. Yet no matter what the future brings, I hope I can ever look to you. In good times and bad, as a dependable comrade and dear friend both. Thank you, Desiree, from the bottom of my heart. I've been keeping Armwald abreast of the situation in letters, but unfortunately he could not be here today. When it's convenient for both of us, we should pay him a visit. Spoken your fill, have you? If so, I'm thinking to send everyone off. With your permission, then? Your attention, please, at risk of spoiling the mood, the time of departure is upon us. In my capacity as your receptionist, I bid you all safe journeys. Till the next we meet, be well. Wind up heroes. Come on, you know who this hero is. Argos Horn. So wir jetzt Argos und der Venar Minion. And music.
I suppose we're off to Garlemald then. Though we ought to speak with Lord Emmerich first. If he's received word of any recent developments, we need to know.
'Twould be prudent to purchase some warmer clothes at least. Mayhap we can pick up a few souvenirs for Euless and the others while we're at it.
Where will you all be heading next?
Dravania. There is a book I've been meaning to borrow from the Great Google Library. And I can think of at least one person who will be most displeased should I fail to visit before leaving.
Master Matoya.
We've no particular destination in mind, but we do intend to stop in Sharlayan before we set off.
We had thought to ask after the Loporrits. I am curious as to how well those who chose to remain are adapting to their changed circumstances.
Might we accompany you then? Raha and I were planning to return to the Baldessian Annex.
Commissions have been piling up in our absence, and they must be dealt with ere we begin our work in earnest.
Estinian, you will return to Rads at Han, will you not?
Aye. For Vritra's benefit, though I've yet to hear the details. I may not stay long.
I see. Then it is here the Scions at last part ways, each to some far-flung corner of the realm.
Perhaps. But I believe one of our number, a rather important one at that, has yet to divulge her plans.
Me?
Quite right.
Indeed.
Fair point.
So, what's next for our humble adventurer?
Adventure? Oh, Meteon. The end. Yet stand tall, my friend, our journey will never end. Elpis?
The constancy of this place never ceases to amaze me. An ocean of souls, shimmering and eternal.
Someone in white robes with a familiar voice.
And yet, something stirs. Yes. Steeped in darkness, deep as starless night, the beast hungers. Alas, I dare not investigate in earnest before the coming of my guiding star, as she foretold. We shall descend to the depths, you and I, to confront the dread beast Pandemonium. Oh, the sights we shall see. The sights we shall see.
You have completed the main scenario quest Endwalker. Quests to unlock new content have now become available in Old Charlian. Also, Dead Ends is now duty finder, possible Westworld Champion of Affairs. For many and more adventures await you. But its chorus might ring for all. Alright, but I end this episode here. I probably cut it in the middle somewhere because it's been overly long by now. Until next time then, I'm Mace and don't get lost.